Bias by proxy is when one individual calls the police department based on the suspicion of another person because of their race, not because of any criminal activity.
Did you know people in Mill Valley call the police about black people nearly 20 times the rate they do about white people?
It makes me realize, as many of us are realizing now, about the innate racism which is part of our community.
I didn't know it was such a high rate, such a huge difference.
It disappoints me because this is a community that in particular can really benefit by diversity.
In most of the calls, there's no reason for any kind of citation or arrest. None of us wants to believe we're racially biased, but all of us have implicit or unconscious bias.
In our community, we are predominantly a white community, and so an individual might have an unconscious bias towards another person's race because they don't have that experience or knowledge of their background.
How can a community stop bias by proxy before it begins? Before calling the police, we urge everyone to pause and reflect on these 3 considerations.
Consider the behavior.
Do I see behavior that makes me think somebody is committing a crime or endangering somebody?
If someone were behaving that way whom you knew, or a neighbor, would you, in fact, call the police? I don't think you would.
Consider your assumptions.
If a friend or neighbor were behaving in that way, would I think someone should call the police?
Consider your reaction.
Are police the most appropriate service providers for the situation?
Never, never is it right to call a person on the basis of race or appearance.
If a person of color is contacted by law enforcement and it's solely based on a bias by proxy type call for service, it truly leaves them with a feeling of being unwelcome and potentially hostile within our community, and we don't want that. We want people to have a positive contact with law enforcement and know that when our law enforcement officers respond to a call for service, it's specifically because there's a legitimate reason that we're there, not because of a person's color of skin.